Hello.
I was chewing candy and Jenny told me I couldn't.
No, I told him to finish it before we start, or else you'll hear his like. That's gross.
Are you saying my chewing is gross?
No, I'm saying everyone's chewing is probably unpleasant to hear unless you're into that kind of stuff, I guess.
Wait, who'd be into that? Never mind. I
There
don't
are
want to
some.
get in. I wouldn't get into that right now.
So, anyways,
Hey, all you coachies.
yay! Our topic today is success because I can't really think of any other ones. So, if anyone have any topics you guys would like us to talk about, please let me know, and then we'll record it sometime when we can. But yeah, our topic today will be success.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. Did you actually even check the YouTube comments to see if anybody suggested topics?
No, I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, like I thought of talking about this because I feel success is measured by people's own depiction of it.
Idea, concept of it.
Yeah, or concept.
Depiction is showing.
Oh, okay. Their own.
Dumbass.
Okay, their own concept of it. I just nudged Tony so then he would stop interrupting me, but yeah, I always thought like cause from what I hear like some people talk about it and stuff like that, it's always to kind of reach to the very top of something, or like to have, well, to earn a lot of money, which I can kind of understand in terms of like that will create stability, but then what do you personally feel?
I don't know. I always measure success. I measure success rather differently. Like I've actually talked about this with my coworkers as well. That essentially, I always felt like for how you measure your own success, it comes into what you want to achieve. And now, I know a lot of people imagine the concept of success is straight to their career or their job, etc. Like, and that's how they do, and that is their measurement of success. But I mean, that's a lot of people's, and I know personally for both of us that is one large factor of it as well. But I kind of view success as it's something you have to define for yourself. So
Yeah.
the best example I could think of, to kind of show how I think of it is, let's say your big goal in life is your career. Then of course how successful you are at work is like
Yeah.
how you getting promoted, you getting raises, etc. You getting moving up in the company. That's how you would measure your success because that's the most important thing in your life. Now, for example, some people are pursuing their own like personal project. Let's say like some people are writing, or some people are coding their own games. I know several people that are this way, and to them their success is measured on this personal project, and their day job, even though they do work hard at their day job, that they don't measure their success by their standing in the company at that day job. No, that is a means to an end,
Yeah.
so that they can fund and do the thing that they actually measure their success upon.
Yeah.
So it's almost kind of like a secondary factor of what makes you happy in
Yeah.
the end, and then that's how I see success.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I was like thinking about. I'm like, what would really make me feel successful in life? And like a huge part of that is to actually just to be happy of what I'm doing, and like, well, that being said, be happy and in a way like also not hurt people while doing so.
Why'd you have to have that very specific, oddly specific note?
Well, because some people might be happy by just doing their own stuff and not really achieving much, to be honest.
That seems right. What if they have? But by that definition, that's not by their measure of by your measure of success. True, they failed it, but by their own measure of success.
I guess you could say that. Well, but that's how I see my part. Like to be happy and not hurt anyone in the process of doing that, because like very much there's actually quite a lot of stories where you can be successful, and like by doing so you're hurting other people.
Okay, I guess that's true. But
Yeah.
I mean, but like that's like I said though. Like I imagine that's success by their own terms.
Yeah.
So like yeah, that if they're happy.
Yeah, I'm talking about my own term.
Yeah, no, okay, that's fair. Like
Yeah.
I'm saying, like by somebody else's terms, that could very well be their
They're-
goal.
yeah,
goal in
yeah,
life.
for sure.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, well, cause like I'm also thinking. I remember we talked about like things about like this was just like some of our random topics, and I remember mentioning that like I hope in the future that I actually don't have like so much money that I'm considered rich, at least like considered rich to other people or stuff like that, because like to me, like I feel I would want like my kids to, I guess, to view like success as like something that they have to, you know, really strive and achieve for, and in like in a way that maybe they can benefit the world in some way, or like not even like in such a huge aspect, or just like, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but I feel that's a rather narrow view. Like, because now because like by that same argument, you want to, let's say your goal. I know your goal is successfully in your career is to do well. So let's just, for the sake of argument, say your goal in your entire career that would make you the most happy is eventually to lead your own big project.
Yeah.
It's like, so would you say that's a pretty fair assessment?
Yeah.
Like a big personal project. Like, let's say Life Happens takes off into a large published comic in some shape or form.
Yeah.
Like, hypothetically speaking. So by your own success, let's say that became your success.
Okay.
And it took off. Like, it took off like Penny Arcade did and all those things. It became a really big thing. Now, by your measurement, you hope you don't become too successful in that, so your children will learn. Is that not just a matter of needing to teach them not to be privileged?
Well, yes, partly it is a huge thing of that, because
I would argue that to achieve that goal would not be it's not a matter of you limiting your own success to achieve that. It would be a matter of adjusting how you would view how much of your success affects your children's life. So, for example, I know we know people on very opposite sides of this coin. Like, I feel of the people I've met whose parents are successful, I find they fall into two veins.
Yeah.
One, they live off their parents' success.
Yeah.
Like, almost exclusively. Like, their parents will fully fund their school. Their parents will fully give them a place to live. Their parents will buy them a car. The parents will like essentially provide everything for them. And because their parents do this, they become very privileged. They feel very privileged and also on top of that entitled.
Yeah.
So they don't. It's like in their standard, their measure of success is their own personal happiness. True.
Yeah.
But they don't have to work to achieve that. So they innately they fill their own smaller scale of success because they keep getting what they want.
Well, you know, like what I kind of think of that, like possibly it might not, because like I would say I wish that we don't get like super rich like in the eyes of other people, but like that's my way of thinking, because I know how I am. And, like, of course, I don't want to treat my kids, like, and then spoil them or whatever. But then, like, it's also, I think it also comes with the idea of, like, it's kind of hard for me to say no to certain things. Like, even though I will have to force myself.
But it's something you have to adjust. Cause,
yeah,
like,
of course.
The other side, and this turns full front into the other side, which is the people whose parents give them everything, but they don't view that as something they're entitled to.
Yeah.
That's like it's how I view like the small little benefits my parents were able to give me
exactly.
working hard, which is essentially I have to do more with this. Like somebody that starts at step 5 cannot settle for step 6.
See, like,
they have to get to step 10. Just like somebody starts at step 1. It would be great if they could work their way to step 10, but really the achievement is they got to step 5 when they started at step 1. Like, I feel if you have initial advantages in life, you need to make more of them.
Well, yeah, of course.
And like, so that's kind of how that's how I view like from that aspect of it.
Well, like what I said when I was saying that kind of stuff, right? Like, part of me is because I would be scared that my own kids would fall into that category, even though I know I could control what I give them and all that stuff. Like, I can also like not use my money in like how would you even explain?
Frivolous way?
Yeah, in a frivolous way, and like stuff like that. But then like
know.
For me, mainly I have that kind of thought because most of the people that I've met and most of the people like that I see that comes from a family like that, I'm not saying all of them are like that, of course not, but like a lot of the people that I've seen, like they do have a, like, I don't know, like maybe their personality isn't completely like that, but there's a bit of feeling that you get off of it.
Well, I agree, but that's. I mean, like, you also don't know, like, their own parents' circumstances and things like that.
Well,
and,
yeah,
like,
of course.
And things like that. But, like,
No, that's how I feel. Like,
yeah,
that's
but
my
I'm not arguing.
idea of that.
Yeah, but, like, I'm saying it's an oversimplification almost.
Oh, yeah,
like,
of course.
Well, like, because, like, I kind of feel like, as much as I like to believe nurture over nature, I think some people will, no matter what you do, no matter what, they'll find some way of like acting entitled, even if like they're entitled to very little. Like, I feel like you do your best
Yeah.
with with the children you get, and like, you know, you try to teach them what you can, and that's it, and like that's how they end up.
Yeah.
Like, I feel, yes, you need to teach them a lesson. You need to teach them proper lessons so that they pursue their own success and they define it.
Yeah.
They define it themselves, and to be sure they don't define it as something far too easy. But at the same time, because by my definition of success is like something to achieve my own happiness, my personal like measure of success, just from a career perspective, is to do very well in my career.
Yeah,
Moving up. Now that entails a certain degree of that entails a certain amount of benefits. Like, one, my family. The reason that's a measure of success for me personally is it gives my family a comfortable life, and it gives myself a comfortable life, and I'm able to take care of my parents and take care of my family, and like give them things that I may not have been able to give them otherwise. Now, I agree with you. You should not just give it to them. Like, so I agree with you from the perspective, like, at the beginning, you don't make them. You treat them well, but you do not spoil them. And I realize it's a very fine line.
It's very hard to do.
It's a very fine line, but I think it's a line that I think all parents have to walk.
Yeah.
And really, there's no guidebook.
Yeah, of course.
You don't know.
No one is ready to be a parent ever.
And nobody has the same line. And the line is all over the place. Spoil one kid with like an extra lollipop, and he fucking turns into like, why don't I get 10 lollipops? But spoil a completely different kid, like give him a lollipop. He's thankful and he thinks he needs to do something to earn the next one.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying is, there's all kinds in the world. So, the push you give them has to be is very different, and it's something that has to be very fluidic. It's not something you want to like just make it solid in your mind right now, because I mean, like, all kids are different. Like all kids are different. Like, I mean, here, like, I guess the best example I guess you've seen recently is just me and my brother. Me and my brother couldn't be on more opposite sides of the coin. Like
a large part of why I say I include like talking about that like in this video or podcast is because I do view my own success partly with my children as well, and not like I don't want them to be like I'm not thinking it's like, oh, they have to be like super skilled or talented and whatever. It's more like I hope that they can go into the world doing good and like being successful in their own way. That won't hurt anyone, and just like, you know, strive to be better every day as a person. Yeah, and like that's why I think my own personality, like I have a lot of paranoia in the future, because I do think about having kids and stuff like that. And like a huge part of that is like, will I be the kind of good parent that I hope to be?
Yeah, but I think all parents feel that way.
Yeah, I know.
To be honest, like, I don't like. I was recently just at my work. Two guys that, like, you know, they're just a touch older than me, like they're just in their early 30s. They both recently became dads as well. And the one that became a dad first, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I make it the best I can. And then the second guy that just became a dad last month, I believe, he's constantly asking the other dad for advice. And like, honestly, the advice that he usually gets is, dude, honestly, you do what you can, and like you adjust, because the kid's not gonna fly according to your plan.
Yeah, that's why I said no one is ever ready to be a parent. I say that in the way that's like, you never, like, until you get into those kind of situations where you have to do, you know, quote unquote parent like things, you're not really you're not really 100% sure that you will do just this or just that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
like
what
I can say it, but I'm not sure if I would.
I mean. Well, actually, let's turn it back to the original topic because I think we've gone a little off topic now with that. So, how do you personally measure? Like, what are the factors you personally use to measure your success? I know we've touched a bit on it, but like, just if you could define it right now, like the how you measure your own success on a personal level,
I think
right now.
Yeah, I think as of my age right now and what I have right now, I feel myself as successful already. But that's right now.
Yeah, but like, what are the factors?
I know. I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So like, that's for me. It's to first live stably. I can like afford all the stuff myself, and then I can like live on my own and blah blah blah, and also to be able to give back to my parents. And to improve like every day, like with what I'm doing. Like I want to see that my art this year, or like my speed or whatever, even if it's like a touch bit, I want to see some sort of difference from even a month ago or like a year ago and stuff like that. And like I want to see development in like my own projects in some ways. Like to be completely honest, like before, like I view Life Happens as my main own project right now. Like even before, when I didn't have, to be honest, not that many readers, like I still try my best to like keep on updating them and stuff like that. Well, because like I like to make people laugh, and I like to make people like, or like hopefully some of the comics can like help people in some ways. Like that's to me is what's successful. What?
No, I was just I just like make the observation that you say to be honest a lot. That's like,
yeah, I know.
It comes out a lot, and now I was just thinking back, like how many times have you said it? Not only in this podcast, but in other ones as well.
No, even in everyday talk, I always say that. That's one of my things.
Your thing. Okay, so I guess this is one where like the result, I think for me, is gonna fall in the same veins, but like how I measure them is a little different than you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, and also to include like I also hope that I appreciate everything. That's also part of my thing.
And specifically, she means appreciate all you listeners and readers out there.
No, just I appreciate that too. You fucking trapped me in that. I know you did. I know you did. I mean, appreciate everything in general. Be grateful and appreciate everything. I don't want to be to the point that I feel I deserve stuff. That's my that's my thing.
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, mine falls into a similar like result category, but like I think how I measure it is different, and I think we've actually discussed this. I don't think ever in a podcast, but how I view things. So, for example, like I'll measure my own personal, like my own professional success on very similar lines to you. Like as you progress in the company, you get more responsibilities, you get paid more, more people trust you, people look up to you, people come to you for advice. I feel for a large part I've achieved that. So, and we've actually talked about this in the past, how like essentially I already got my dream job role, did it for a year, and then like now I'm moving on. Now I have to reassess what I want to do because I got it so quickly. And so, like that's its own in development thing. I'm reassessing what my measure for success in that. And that's probably maybe why I've been feeling frustrated last year, like remeasuring that concept of how I view professional success.
So is that your main thing?
Well, no, that's one of the factors. So like that's one of the factors. Professional. That's how professional success. That's its own vein right now. And yeah, like I thinking about it, maybe just thinking about it now, like I think maybe that's why I've been so frustrated last year, is that I've had to reassess that essentially and see where I want to be and what I want to go. And the answer is I don't know now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's its own vein. And I guess just for since Jenny's gotten a lot of new listeners in the last while, I work in IT, and the big thing I always wanted was to have my own team. And and essentially like run my own team, and I got that like a year and a half ago. I got my own team, had carte blanche over directives and everything for my own team and everything. And it was great. It was fun and everything, but like that was a goal I set for myself at the beginning of my career, and I was only 2 years in, I had gotten it. So like the reassessment of that is something I guess I'm going through in the last year.
Yeah.
But so another factor that I measure for success, and this is actually where me and Jenny differ a little, and I'm a bit more specific, is the idea of physical possessions, because it's not that what they are, but it's what they represent.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this probably not in the podcast, but the idea of like a nice car. So and this is something I share with my dad. It's I'm sure other people
Yeah,
have
I
this
definitely
way.
don't have that
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. Like essentially, the nice car to me is not an object in itself. It's a nice car, like it's great, but it's what it represents to me. Is that when I have the nice car, it's something. It represents that what I've achieved, so that I can afford to have this nice car and not have it in fact impact my family in a negative way or in a selfish way that only benefits me. So for example, I don't agree with when you can't afford a nice car, you spend all your money on it
Yeah.
and you live paycheck to
You mean
paycheck
it's
or in
extra
debt.
money.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally, I can have this nicer car because I have the excess income or the extra money to have it. So like
Yeah.
in the same vein, that's how I view like, things inside your house. So like the nice computer, the nice furniture, the well decorated home, like all these things are things that like the objects themselves are nice conveniences, but it's that they represent an achievement for myself, as well as of course extended to my family,
Yeah.
that we're in a good place now and we're able to afford these things. And like I know it's a thin line, because like there is the idea that like if you just want nice things so you can show off. I do not want to show off. Like I genuinely like driving a nice car. It feels good. I like coming home to a nice house with nice things in it. It feels good, and it's something that where you can kind of sit back. And I know my dad has done this like in recent years, that he sits back when me and my brother and Jenny come over, and he sits in his house that's all paid off for with his hard work, and he sits back and he feels very proud of what he's done when he started with nothing. He's like, this is my house, this is my car, this is my family. They're in a good place because of my hard work.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that. And that I kind of feel I inherited that concept from my dad. So like,
Yeah.
so sometimes I'll like, and Jenny, we have definitely disagreed on this. Like when I was like, oh, I want that. She'll be like, no, you don't need that. It's like, no, I agree, I don't need that, but it'd
Because
be nice
like
to have.
for me, like I'm always, well, most of the time I think about practicality, right?
Well, yeah, you're very frugal in your practicality concept, and that's the area where me and Jenny like will butt heads sometimes about it. But like
No, I totally understand your point. That's why I say it's like, okay, if you want a nice car, this will be your budget for it.
yeah, like it's like, because both me and Jenny want a nice quality of life for ourselves and our family, and like that's the end goal. And that's where I was kind of coming at. Like where I come at it is from a different, like my feeling going into it comes from a different place than where Jenny goes into it. But like at the end of the day, we both of course want a comfortable life for our families. But I agree with you. Because I want those things, I also want my kids to get those things, and like I would hope that I would be able to teach them that type of achievement.
Yeah. See, like you said, you also want your kids to have those things. But
Yeah, but, like,
do you mean they earn it?
No, yeah, like what I mean is I hope when I said those things, I meant that lesson, like that feeling
Okay. Yeah.
of achievement. Like it's like I did this, like that, like because my dad said very clearly when I was younger is that like we're a first generation immigrant family. So like my dad immigrated here from Vietnam, and like he came with the clothes on his back and a few dollars in his pocket.
Yeah.
And now he's very successful. He's like, I will not accept. He said this straight up to me when I was younger. I will not accept you working like me. I came here with nothing. I couldn't speak
you have
the language.
to do better.
You have to be better than me.
That's why I believe in
Yeah,
you.
it's like I did all this with when I started with this little, this little. You so essentially you are starting here. You have to do better than me.
See, like that's exactly why sometimes that's exactly why I feel these kind of things too. Because like I do feel our parents have to work their fucking asses off to like bring us here and then to provide us all these things. Because what we really need is pretty much a place to sleep in, and then electricity for us to do our work, and then like food. That's all we need. But then our parents were able to provide so much more than that.
Yeah.
So we have to step up.
And the thing is, and like this is something that always bothered me when you see people that start with so much less, but they can do more than you. They get to they achieve way more than you.
Yeah.
It's like then then you feel you have to work harder because like
Yeah.
look they started with less cards than you and they were able to turn it around.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to like strive. Of course, not everybody gets to achieve the same things in the world, but like you have to try.
Well, at least try
Yeah.
to be a better person than you are yesterday, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Like measure your success by your own terms.
Yeah.
And like that. Yeah, and that's just kind of how I feel about like how one sees their own success, like from a personal perspective and a career perspective.
Yeah.
Like that, and like in the end, like you define yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to define yourself. Don't let other people. And I guess this will be a bit of a tangent, but I don't feel you should let other people define success to you.
Yeah.
Especially not us.
Well, we're only describing what we feel
Yeah.
our success are ourselves. If people feel the same, that's cool. If not, then that's totally okay too.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's how it's our own personal view of like
Yeah.
how we view our own personal success. We of course would never hold anybody to the same scale because everybody's own scale is so different.
Well, like
What-
there's also a reason why we feel this. Like you said, right? Like I remember you bringing it up before too. It's like where your mom, when there's food that people don't like or whatever, your mom would just be like, "Oh, you shouldn't waste that" or stuff like that too. It's like even though you don't have to eat it, we shouldn't waste the food. But then like your dad would be like, "If you don't like it, just don't eat it. Don't just throw it away." Like I know your idea is like my idea is more like your mom because I think of it in the way that's like by doing these little things to save up or whatever, that's how I got to here today. And then I do remember like there's like because I try my best. I don't want to ask money from my parents because I want to do everything myself. And it's like there's even times where I will walk from this station back all the way back home just to save like $2.50.
That's not now, by the way. Just
No, that's not now. That was like a long time ago. I remember like a lot of people were just like, why they would view it as like, why are you so cheap? It's like, well, because I don't have the kind of money that can like, even though it's something really small, every little bit counts. I don't like at that time. I just feel like I don't have the kind of money that I feel okay with doing that. And plus, I just feel it's like, hey, exercise while saving $2.50. Yeah, that's how I felt before. And then like I remember a lot of people would view it as like, why are you so cheap?
Yeah, like the main thing for me is and that like it took me a long time to realize this. And honestly, you can tell people this lesson, but it's something I've realized you have to kind of discover yourself. It comes back to a lesson. You can't let other people define your success for you.
Yeah.
For like
you're
your
just being
parents,
unhappy.
your parents, your friends, your significant other, like different people have different measures of success. And honestly, I've seen people try to live up to somebody else's concept.
Me too.
And you never can achieve it. Like you can never because it's not your own.
Different.
Yeah, it's not your own. It's not your concept, and you can even if you do achieve it, you won't be happy.
Yeah.
And I've seen people buried under the weight of trying to meet those expectations that aren't even their own. And like some people, and like even if. And I've seen some of those people, they've been able to come out of it on the other end, but I've seen other of them like completely crash and burn on it. Like my one friend, his parents were really insistent on the business degree.
Oh,
like,
I see where this is going.
They're really insistent on the business degree. He did not want to do business, but like he was really afraid to like, he really didn't want to argue with his parents about it, so he just did it.
Yeah.
But he's like, you know what? I'm going to do this, and you know what? My time at the office and my time at business, that will let me do my own thing. And he writes in his spare time. So like he works all day at the office, and on his spare time he does writing at home, and like that's his measure of success, not the stuff at the office. That's his own professional.
I've
but
seen that too.
his professional thing is his own thing, but his personal writing, that's how he funds his time.
That's actually a really good way of thinking that, because I thought you were gonna go on another.
Oh no, like there's people that have gotten crushed under it. That's
what I've heard of.
There's no need to mention those people. It's a very common, unfortunate, tragic story. But like, I thought I'd like to share my one friend's like measure of success, that he defined his own happiness that it would let him live comfortably.
Yeah. That's a very good way of thinking
yeah,
too.
he has the skill set. He can do it because he went to school for it, and like it's not doesn't make him miserable. It's just not what makes him happy.
Yeah.
What makes him it funds his ability to be happy
Yeah.
in his personal time.
Yeah.
And it's just like the people that like for example, I was eating with one of our company's clients that like my boss knows him personally. We went out for a movie and drinks once, and his measure of success is like he has his professional thing, but on his personal level he works out. Like this guy, he's like in his 50s, and man, I wish I could be as buff as him. Like he like he pays for his own personal trainers, his special dietitian. Him and his wife are both in it together, but he works a successful job at the company to fund his own personal project himself. His own physical sculpting of his 50-year-old body that honestly looks like a 20-year-old at this point. Like, and like that's how he enjoys it. And like I'm sure he enjoys the other side job too, but you can tell when he's talking about the bodybuilding and him and his wife and the dietitians, the special diets and all that, that's his true interest, and that's where he has fun. And like you can see the difference between the two, and it's like that he clearly he funds his personal success through his career success.
That actually reminded me a lot of this thing that my dad said before, which I hope he actually follows by it, but I don't think so.
Do as I say, do as I do.
He mentioned something like you shouldn't live to work, you should work to live.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and that's
I think that's a huge thing that I actually believe in too, because like that's actually why I wanted to pursue like all this stuff to have my dream job, because like every day I go to my job not really thinking it's a job. Like of course I still work professionally and everything, but then like to me it's so fun that I don't feel like I'm super stressed and like
no, I agree.
So like that it to me that's like a really cool thing to think about too, and I hope my dad like adopts this sometime because he's still working himself to the bones, which I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, my dad said something similar, like when we were talking about cars, because like when you're a naive young kid, you always want the fastest car, the craziest car, and things like that. And he's like, you know what, the car works for you. You should not work for the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like those people that buy the crazy ass car and then they live paycheck to paycheck.
I know someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody does, and like that's the point though. Like though some people are happy doing that because they really love their car.
Yeah.
But like but like like as long as that's what makes you happy, that's what you should do. But like personally, I know that wouldn't make me happy if I was making sacrifices other places.
Yeah.
So just so I could have the car to show off. That personally to me isn't successful to me. But like I said, that's my own personal definition.
To me, it's kind of like I feel stressed like on a regular basis with like my own stuff already, so I won't want to have unnecessary stress coming from things that I can control. That's that's me.
Anyway, so I guess that kind of wraps up because we're approaching almost we've approached past 30 minutes. So.
I hope I didn't offend any rich people. You guys are cool too if you don't get spoiled.
And and so we thank you guys for listening and hearing us rant and talk about it. This one was quite obvious. I think this one was definitely obviously less scripted than the other ones.
Yeah.
We kind of just like wanted to record this one on the fly.
You know what I'm always afraid of? That I say something dumb that accidentally offend someone and I don't mean it that way.
Oh really? Because like if somebody's like, I'm afraid of if I say something dumb, and it's like, well, you say that every time.
That's it.
It's like,
no, that's me on a regular basis. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. This is the shit I deal with all day. But anyway, so we thank you guys for listening. We hope you guys enjoy these podcasts. Feel free to suggest any topics. Just throw them at us. We're pretty much willing to talk about anything. Hopefully nobody abuses that one.
I'm just like anything.
Almost anything. And we'll try to be as accommodating as possible for topics. So feel free to if there's anything you guys want to hear our like weird opinions on, let us know and we will happily talk about it. This one I guess was a bit more serious, so I think the next one will be a little more lighthearted. We'll try to pick a more lighthearted topic for the next one. So thanks for listening, you coaches. You've been lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hope this wasn't boring.
Oh,
bye, I love you.
It was definitely boring. Bye, guys.
Bye.